The Premier League is officially back. A few fixtures have already been played now, and I'm going to be previewing in today's video Chelsea's first of this return of football. It's going to be Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Kick-off for this one will be coming to us live from Villa Park, 4:15 PM UK time. That's going to be a Sunday afternoon fixture, and it's going to be a stadium where actually Villa have already played after the restart, of course. They were taking on fellow European challengers Sheffield United. They held out a 0-0 draw there on Wednesday afternoon, so coming here on Sunday, we're going to be discussing what that draw means, everything surrounding this fixture, and everything you need to know going into the game. This Sunday is going to be in today's video, so fasten your seatbelts and let's get started. Of course, as we do with our previews, we're going to be going through both sides, weighing up everything, of course, and let's start with Aston Villa, the home team for this game. So they're going to be our opponents for this match, and like I say, they've already played after the break, and that could either play into their hands, they could have more match sharpness, they'll be much more used to the protocol of turning up, everyone in different cars and stuff, everyone will be using different ways to get into the stadium, all the protocols will be different, also playing without fans more importantly, or it could play against them, they may be more tired, Teams, I think, are lacking massive fitness after this return, and Aston Villa playing a game like that against Sheffield United, they did have to hold them out. It was quite a dull game in my opinion, but at the end of the day, Villa, they did keep a clean sheet, and we'll have to wait and see, which way that goes. Does it work for them or does it work against them? Either way, guys, I think Villa were probably quite lucky to get away with the point from that game, and it's a really, really valuable point there, they'll be super pleased with that. And honestly, anything they get now against Chelsea will just be a big, big bonus for them, and I think they'll be really pleased to come back. They've conceded quite a few goals this season, and to get a draw and a 0-0, especially against a European contender like Sheffield United, is really good, and that kind of takes the pressure off for them against Chelsea. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for us, again, we don't really know. And the thing is with these previews, we don't really know a lot about how each team's going to set up and what's going to be happening. But I think it is completely different. There isn't big spells of momentum in these new games. I think there's large periods of the games they're actually quite dull. And if you take the game by the scruff of the neck, guys, like we need to be doing tomorrow, then there is a real chance for 3 points. I think if you really go for it after the break, you'll win the games. If you're fit, if you really have that desire, you'll snatch it away from the other teams, you'll blow them over. And I think we actually saw it against the Norwich versus Southampton game yesterday for me as I'm recording this. And that was a game where it was quite balanced, but Southampton just said, we're going to mow through you here. And when they got going, they ransacked Norwich, especially in that second half. And again, Norwich, similar to Aston Villa, relegation candidate. If you get one, if you get two, you can blow them out of the water. Like I say, relegation candidate in Aston Villa, but Chelsea, what we have to do is find Villa's weaknesses. We can't let them get into the game, grow more and more confident. The longer it stays at 0-0 or if Villa snatch an early goal, we can't let that happen, guys. We really cannot, because Villa, they kept a clean sheet against Sheffield. They'll be confident from that. They'll probably be more used to the football without fans, but we've got to take this game with a scruff of the neck, really dominate them, gain momentum, control that game, because Villa, without their home supporters, they'll be looking for a boost and they won't be getting one. So if we take anything away from them, for me, they're going to really struggle in this fixture. But if we start giving them things, if we start making it easier for them, if every time they put a ball in the box it causes issues, that cannot happen, which has been the case for a lot of our games this season. So Chelsea, got to be professional out there, got to wrap up 3 points. And if we do now move on to the Blues, it is going to be a massive game this for top 4 hopes. It really is. I mean, I wasn't even going to put this when I started writing up the preview, but since then, a lot of teams have dropped points. Like we mentioned, Sheffield dropped points. Arsenal lost to Man City. Spurs and United drew. We've got Wolves versus West Ham later. I'm recording this at about 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, by the way, guys. So Brighton Arsenal hasn't finished yet. It's 0-0 at half-time. Then you've got the Wolves-West Ham game later. But either way, teams are already dropping points, and this is such a great opportunity for Chelsea, because I think we've actually got some really hard fixtures coming up. We've got Man City on a Thursday. For me, I don't even know if we can get a point out of that game, so it's so important to get all 3 here against Aston Villa. It really is. Teams are going to be hot on our heels for the rest of the season. We are going to be dropping points. It's just that simple. But if we drop points here, we really could put ourselves in a massively poor situation. Honestly, we have to win. To be honest, I think we haven't been great this season at winning 3 points when we've had to. There have been so many weekends, guys, where we've seen United have lost or Spurs have drawn, Arsenal have dropped points, Wolves have, Sheffield United, Leicester, etc, and you're thinking, wow, look at how nice that table could be looking come this match week if we just won our games. And you know what? We've lost them or we've drawn them, and it's been so frustrating. That's been the case a lot of the time in this rollercoaster ride of a season, and Chelsea tomorrow have to get the 3 points. It was a similar case with Southampton when we lost 2-0 at home at the Bridge. We lost 1-0 at home to Bournemouth. I remember the Newcastle game that we went away to, and I think if we won, we could have got to, I think if we won, we would have got like 3 points behind Leicester, and it's actually the same case now, guys. So please, guys, please, go out there, do your jobs, and get this win. Enough on the pleading front, though. Let's look at some positive points for Chelsea, because for me, I'm excited to see us come back, and the reason is because, well, we've got a lot of names coming back from injury, we really do. We've got a lot of players who will be coming back fresh into the starting lineup and raring to go, and honestly, we've got so many exciting names in our squad. I'm super excited to see what we can do on Sunday against Aston Villa, move through them. For me, if we get some goals, that'll be a big confidence booster. We beat QPR 7-1 not long ago, and you may be saying, you know, it's just a friendly, it's QPR, but there were big Premier League sides dropping points, and Chelsea look raring to go. We look fit for me, and I'm hoping we can replicate that on Sunday. Of course, we haven't really seen much of what's been going on behind the scenes, but I know how Lampard is, I know how much he demands, and a win against Villa here could be absolutely vital. But if we just move on to the team news, Villa also welcome back a couple of players, you know, due to the break. So they've got the vital cog in midfield, John McGinn, back in the side. That's obviously really important for them. He got 75 minutes against Sheffield. He'll be starting again against Chelsea. And for the Blues, you know, I think we're probably in a worse position than I would have wanted right now. I really do. You know, we had the 3 months out and I was thinking, here we go. Let's refresh everyone. Let's get everyone back. Everyone's going to be available. But no. Listen to how many selection issues we've got right now. Let's go through it position by position, guys. Reece James, apparently unlikely to start because he wasn't featured in some friendlies. Of course, he could start. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping him and Azpilicueta do. He could start. He's probably one of the more likely ones to actually make the cut. But again, you know, he wouldn't be fully ready. Tomori is out of this game, guys. Lampard announced that in the press conference yesterday. Jorginho is suspended. Loftus-Cheek apparently will not be rushed into a starting spot. Same goes for N'Golo Kante. Up top, we've got Callum Hudson-Odoi who's going to be missing out. Christian Pulisic probably wouldn't have been starting this game, but due to the fact we've got so many players out, he probably will be starting now. And the same goes for Willian and Pedro. Their futures are right up in the air right now. They probably will only be with us for another 10 days, and yet we may have to start them. I think that will probably play into Lampard's mind, and he'll be thinking, I don't really want to be playing you. We've seen that case at a few other clubs, you know, Bournemouth with Ryan Fraser. If players are leaving in 10 days, they aren't going to be playing. Are Pedro and Willian going to be playing? That's interesting, especially Pedro. He's announced, I think, that he's leaving. We'll have to wait and see whether we can convince him. But either way, guys, you know, I've gone through so many names there. What is going on? You would think with the first game back that we'd have a lot of players back. And I think a lot of them, to be fair, are just precautions. You know, you talk about Kante, Loftus-Cheek, Reece James, Christian Pulisic. I'm hoping we still see them, guys. But again, it's just not ideal, is it? After such a long time. And it's been an issue for so long in the season, guys. You know, going into every game, we're thinking, right, he's out, he's out, he's out, he's out. That's been annoying for me. I do wonder how good we could have been this season with a fully fit side. I really do, because we've shown some brilliant signs. But hey, again, looks like we're coming back here, 3 months off, and we've got a lot of players missing. It does pain me that, it really does. Like I said, though, I'm hoping a few of them are just precautions, and within about 2 or 3 match weeks, everyone will be back. You know, we'll get that fully fit Loftus-Cheek, the Kante. Everyone will be coming back, and that's really, really positive. So with all that in mind, I've tried to predict the lineups as best as I can, just, you know, with the knowledge of how I think Lampard's going to go. But we'll start with the Aston Villa lineup. Nyland's going to be getting the nod in goal, I think, unless they bring Reina back in, but he made a blunder, as you guys, I'm sure, all saw against Sheffield United. They didn't count the goal. We still don't even know if that was over the line or not. It did look like it, didn't it? But what a weird moment that was. In defence, I think Gilbert, if he's fit, will start at right back. If not, I suppose El Mohammadi will be there. Also in defence, I think House and Mings will get the start. I think that's the way Villa are going to be going. That's what they did against Sheffield anyway. And of course, Matt Targett at left back. In midfield, they've got quite a good and balanced midfield three for me. They've got John McGinn, and they've also got Douglas Luiz and Hourihane. So Douglas Luiz is the one I want to pick out. For me, he's got such a sweet left foot, you know. A Man City player, played in La Liga, he can swing it from side to side, and he's actually got the quality to unlock a defence like Chelsea, so that's someone we need to look out for on McGinn. Such an engine in there, we've got to be able to match that one up. And up front they've got El Ghazi, who for me lacks end product sometimes. That's someone who we can pick out there and take out the game. Grealish is always going to be such a big issue as always, we've got to make sure we watch him. And I think Samatta's going to be getting the nod up front. For me, he's their best striker right now. Davies for me, I think that's his name up front. He didn't do too much of a Davis, is it? For me, he didn't do too much against Sheffield, so I think Samatta will be getting the nod here, but of course, we'll just have to wait and see. For Chelsea, this is what I've gone ahead and lined up with. I think we'll be seeing something similar to this. I've gone for Kepa in goal. I think he will be getting the nod here ahead of Caballero, of course. He came back into contention in the last couple of games. He was really good against both Liverpool and Everton before the break. Right back, Azpilicueta, I think will be starting. Left back, I've gone for Alonso. I think it'll either be Alonso. If Reece James is fit, I think James will play on the right, Azpilicueta on the left. if they decide to bench James though, which I think they could, maybe saving him for Man City, then Alonso will get that nod out there. In defence, I've gone for Zuma and Rudiger. Those were the two we lined up with before the break. Andreas Christensen currently has a broken finger, I think. That shouldn't play too much of an issue, but I think he'll go with Zuma and Rudiger. You never know, though. I think Christensen, again, he could easily come in for either one of them. We just don't know. In midfield, I've gone for what, for me, is such a bright midfield. Kovacic, Billy Gilmour, and Mason Mount. That, for me, breeds talent. It's absolutely brilliant, and I like the look of it. I think, again, Kante and Loftus-Cheek are going to be left out for precautions. I was super excited to see a midfield of Kovacic, Gilmour, and Loftus-Cheek for this one. How good does that sound? But either way, this is a really good midfield. Kovacic has to start, I think he will. And how great is it, by the way, guys, making predicted Chelsea lineups for Premier League games and putting even more academy players in there. Billy Gilmour getting the nod in midfield, such a young player at the heart of it. What a player he is. Super excited to see how he goes. Mason Mount, young player of the season, guys. Super consistent in there. I'm hoping he again gets on the score sheet, provides a lot of attack for us. And on the wings, I've gone for Willian and Pulisic. I think Willian, I think now he'll just be focusing on Chelsea. I think he really wants to stay, but we're not going to be offering him a 3-year contract. It's that simple. Pulisic, like I mentioned, I think has to start just because Pedro's future is really uncertain. And also you talk about Hudson-Odoi is out for this game as well. So I think those two on the wings, it has to be that option. If not, I think we could see maybe Kante or Loftus-Cheek enter in midfield. Even Ross Barkley, guys, who I haven't mentioned, certainly in contention for this one. He was good before the break. Ross Barkley could come in midfield, and then Mount can be pushed further forward into the attack. If he does not want to play either one of Willian or Pulisic, that could be the option. And up front, I've gone for Abraham. I still actually have no idea what I would do. I think I'd have to watch it, I'd have to be the coach in the training sessions to actually pick who I'd want to play up front between Abraham and Giroud. It could be either one. For me, that's a bit of a toss of the coin. We don't really know. I've just gone for Abraham because the first game back is against his former club, and maybe he'll be motivated to go out there and prove a point, especially with the recent signing of Timo Werner. And to end the video, of course, we're going to be doing a prediction, and I've gone for Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 3. I am confident, I really am. I think I'm excited for this team's future. I always will be. We've had, like I say, one hell of a roller coaster ride of a season. It hasn't been easy at times, but it was to be expected. I'm really proud of where we are. The players, the staff, the manager especially, done such a great job this season. We've got goals in our team for me. We've got so much attacking talent. We've got chance creation, guys. We've seen that all season. How many opportunities we mow through a game. We get shots off. That's always such a good sign. It really is. When you're not creating, that's an issue. But we are creating, and we've bought players now, like Ziyech, like Werner, or hopefully buy more like Havertz, who can turn those goals into chances. And the players we've already got in the team, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Mount, like Kovacic, Gilmour, so many of them. Tammy Abraham, they're only going to get better at putting the ball in the back of the net. So really, really important times ahead. Super excited for it. I think for this game, we could get a bit of a wake-up call first game back. But I like the lineup. I do. I like the midfield. That midfield of Kovacic and Gilmour in there. Mason Mount as well. If Willian and Pulisic perform on the wings, I still do trust them. And let's hope we can get in there because, Villa, they will be a good test. I really do think they will be. But I'd be so gutted if we dropped more points with such important times ahead, especially with how many teams are already dropping points this match week. I'm hopeful, guys. I really am. I'm hopeful we can get some more players back too in the near future. And I've gone for a 3-1 Chelsea win. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll reply to all your guys' comments. We can get involved in a discussion down there. Drop a like, share the video, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.